Welcome to Notebook Nuggets. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating science of persuasion. And for this, we've really immersed ourselves in the work of Dr. Robert Cialdini. He's a real pioneer in understanding why we say yes.
Absolutely. His work is foundational.
Now, you've probably bumped into these principles yourself, right? Maybe even used them without, really knowing the theory behind it.
Oh, for sure. They're woven into our daily lives.
But our goal today isn't just scratching the surface. We want to unpack the core ideas, see how they shape your interactions, the decisions you make every day.
How they work, why they work.
Exactly. And how you can become more, aware of them operating in your own world.
Sort of decode the influence around you.
Think of this as your shortcut to getting really informed about this crucial part of human behavior. And we've got a few genuinely surprising insights lined up too.
Yeah, some real aha moments, hopefully. What's great about Cialdini's research, decades of it, is it gives you this powerful framework. It's not just what persuades people, but the deep psychological reasons why.
Right. It's not about tricks or anything shady like that.
No, it's about tapping into these fundamental human tendencies, things we all share.
Okay, let's unpack the first big one, reciprocity.
Ah, yes. The give and take.
It's that really ingrained human urge, isn't it? To return favors, to kind of square things up when someone does something for you.
It is. You're taught it from childhood.
Yeah.
Share your toys. Say thank you.
Yeah.
It's about balance.
And not wanting to feel indebted, that's a key part.
Right, definitely. It creates this little psychological discomfort, this tension that you want to resolve by giving back.
It really does. And something that stood out was how offering something small, but, genuinely valuable up front.
Like free sample or some useful info.
Yeah, exactly. How that can pave the way for a much bigger reciprocal act later on. Like a small bit of generosity can trigger a pretty significant return.
And what's interesting is the initial thing doesn't have to be huge or expensive.
Yeah.
No, it's the perceived value to the person receiving it. That's the key. That small act creates the sense of obligation.
Yeah.
They want to reciprocate somehow.
We see this all the time, don't we? Someone offers their time, maybe some free advice, and then later, maybe a bigger opportunity comes back their way. That initial give pays off.
Absolutely. And here's a surprising fact for you, that candy shop experiment.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, so customers who were just given one small piece of chocolate when they walked in, they were 42% more likely to actually buy something.
42%? Just from one chocolate?
Right. And here's the kicker. Most of them didn't even buy chocolate. They bought other candy.
Wow. So it wasn't about the chocolate itself?
No. It was the act of receiving the gift. That's what triggered the obligation, the gift itself, not what it was.
That's fascinating. It's the social dynamic, not the sugar rush.
Exactly. Leading with value, offering something helpful first, it just primes people, makes them more inclined to do what you might hope they'll do later, like buy the book or sign up.
So offering value first, it's not just polite, it's, strategic. Because it's wired into us.
Deeply wired.
Yeah.
Give a tip before you ask for directions, Makes the other person more agreeable.
And this connects to that foot in the door technique, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Similar principle.
Start small. Get an easy yes. And that makes them more likely to say yes to something bigger later on.
Those little commitments add up.
They do, because once you've said yes once, you want to be consistent, right? You see yourself as the kind of person who agreed to that first thing. So saying yes again aligns with that self-image.
Okay, this is really interesting. Reciprocity even shows up in high-stakes global politics.
Oh, absolutely. The Cuban Missile Crisis is a prime example.
Right, the story we usually hear is just Kennedy standing firm and Khrushchev backing down.
Yeah, but behind the scenes, there is a secret deal, a reciprocal concession. The U.S. agreed to remove its missiles from Turkey.
In exchange for the Soviets removing theirs from Cuba? But they kept the U.S. part quiet, kept it totally secret for political reasons. But it shows that even at that level, mutual give and take was crucial for resolving the crisis.
Wow. So reciprocity isn't always immediate or obvious. It can be strategic, long-term.
Exactly. And sometimes politically sensitive.
So how do you defend yourself then? If someone gives you something small, but you feel like they're trying to leverage it for something way bigger, something unfair.
That's a great question. It's about critical thinking, really. You need to reframe that initial gift in your mind. If it feels like a calculated tactic, manipulation.
Like getting a cheap flower at the airport and then being pressured for a donation?
Precisely. If the request in return is completely out of proportion, recognize it for what is a trick. An attempt to exploit that reciprocity urge.
And you don't have to fall for it.
Not at all. You're justified in saying no or just taking the flower and walking away. You don't owe them anything in that exploitative scenario.
Okay, so the takeaway is aim to give first, genuinely. build real connection.
Yes. Foster that natural desire to reciprocate.
But stay aware. If it feels manipulative, like it's got strings attached, call it out in your own mind.
Exactly. Don't let the principle be used against you unfairly.
Okay, moving on. Principle number 2. Commitment and consistency.
Right. This is our deep-seated need to be and to appear consistent with what we've already done or said.
We want our actions to line up with our past selves.
We really do. Once you commit to something, especially publicly, you feel this internal pressure to follow through.
This is where those tripwire products fit in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Those irresistible, low-cost offers.
You buy something small, low risk.
And that makes you much more likely to buy something bigger from the same source later, because you've already made that initial commitment. You're a customer now.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I bought this. Maybe their other stuff is good too. It feels consistent.
Exactly. Your actions align.
And it's not just buying. Think about personal goals.
Oh, yeah.
Writing them down or even telling friends about them, that makes you way more likely to stick to them, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Making it public or even just writing it down makes it more concrete. It's a commitment you've made.
You feel accountable?
Accountable, yes. There's that great restaurant study.
The no-shows.
Yeah. They changed the script just slightly when taking reservations. Instead of just saying, please call if you have to cancel, they asked, will you please call if you have to change or cancel?
And they waited for the person to say yes.
They got that verbal yes, that small, active commitment, and no-shows dropped by 67%.
67%, that's huge. Just from getting a verbal yes.
Shows the power of that active commitment. It taps right into that need for consistency.
You see this in work meetings too, right? Getting people to actually say out loud, yes, I will do that task.
Much more effective than just assigning it. That verbal commitment increases the likelihood it gets done significantly.
Okay, but what if you're trying to influence someone who already has a prior commitment? You need them to change their mind. How do you handle that without making them feel defensive?
That's tricky. You need empathy. Don't just say you were wrong.
Right, that just shuts people down.
Instead, you acknowledge their initial decision. Say something like, look, based on the information you had then, that decision made perfect sense.
Okay. Validate the past decision.
Right. Then you introduce the new information. Now we have this new data or this perspective.
Right.
Frame it as evolving, learning more. It allows them to change their stance without losing face.
Ah, that's smart. It respects their consistency while opening the door to change.
Exactly. And there is that clever job interview tactic.
Oh, yeah. Asking, why did you invite me today?
Mm-hmm. What do you think that does?
Well, it makes the interviewer state the positive reasons out loud, right?
Exactly. They articulate your strengths.
And then, because of consistency.
They're subtly pressured to align their final decision with those positive statements they just made. It's a kind of pre-commitment.
Very clever. Okay, principle number 3, social proof.
Mm-hmm. The power of the crowd.
This is where you look at what other people are doing, especially people like you, to figure out how you should act, particularly when you're unsure.
Yeah, uncertainty is key here. When we don't know what to do, we look around. What's everyone else doing? That must be the right way. It's a mental shortcut.
We see it constantly. Choosing the busy restaurant over the empty one.
Or picking the book with thousands of Amazon reviews over the one with none.
Right. Those reviews are pure social proof. They reduce your uncertainty. Well, lots of people liked it. It must be okay.
And even things like appearing more attractive when you're surrounded by friends.
How does that work?
Well, it subtly signals that other people value your company. You're socially validated, which can make you seem more appealing.
Huh. Never thought of it that way. And that stat, 97% of online buyers check reviews first. 97%.
It's basically universal now, isn't it? The internet has just amplified social proof massively.
Yeah.
We rely on the experiences of others to guide our choices.
It's amazing how simple things work, too. Like a restaurant putting a little asterisk on the menu. Most popular.
Yeah. What does that do?
It can boost orders for those items by like 13 to 20%. And it's especially powerful for first-time visitors, people who are the most uncertain. That asterisk is like a beacon saying, this is safe. Others like it.
It's using the wisdom of the crowd right there on the menu. Smart.
And the power company example, too, telling people how their energy use compared to their neighbors.
That led to big reductions in usage.
Yeah, and the key seems to be feasibility. If my neighbors can do it, then I guess I can too.
Exactly. It's not just a general recommendation. It's people like me are doing this. That makes it feel much more achievable.
Okay, but with all this online stuff, you get fake social proof, phony reviews, right? How do you spot those?
Yeah, that's a real problem.
Yeah.
You need to be a bit critical. Look for reviews that are really vague.
Like, great product, loved it, but no details.
Exactly. Or ones that overuse verbs but lack specifics about the actual experience. Also, be a bit wary of only 5-star reviews. Real feedback usually has some variation. A 4.2 or 4.7 rating often feels more authentic.
That makes sense. A few minor complaints can actually make the positive stuff seem more believable.
Right. And companies caught doing this stuff really should face penalties. It undermines trust.
And highlighting trends in popularity seems even stronger than just a static number.
Yeah, showing something is becoming more popular suggests momentum. It feels more dynamic and appealing than just saying, we're number one right now.
Okay, on to number 4, liking.
The simplest, maybe.
Seems like it. We're just more likely to be persuaded by people we know and, well, like.
It seems obvious, but you can't overstate its power. You're just more open, more trusting with people you feel a connection with.
It's interesting how we even associate good looks with other positive traits, like honesty or intelligence, that halo effect.
Absolutely. That first positive impression based on appearance can really color your judgment of everything else about them.
And we naturally gravitate to people who are like us, right? Similar views, interests.
Shared values, yeah.
Yeah.
That common ground builds rapport and trust almost instantly. Finding those genuine similarities is key to building connection.
So finding common ground and also compliments.
Compliments work, but they have to be genuine.
Right. Insincere flattery feels slimy. It backfires.
Totally. But sincere praise, acknowledging something you genuinely appreciate about someone, that definitely increases liking. People like to feel seen and valued.
We've probably all seen car salespeople try this stuff, haven't we? Claiming similarities, laying on the compliment.
Oh, yeah. It's classic technique. Oh, you golf. I love golf.
So the defense there is awareness. Recognize the tactic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be aware they might be trying to increase liking to make you more agreeable. Separate your feelings about the salesperson from your rational evaluation of the car and the deal.
Good advice. Okay, number 5, authority.
The power of perceived expertise or position.
We tend to comply with people we see as legitimate authorities.
It's deeply ingrained. We're taught from childhood to obey parents, teachers, police officers. That deference transfers to symbols of authority, too.
Like the classic doctor in a white coat.
Exactly. The code itself signals expertise in that context. You automatically tend to trust their advice more.
We see it in business, too. People dressing sharply for important meetings to project competence.
It's all about conveying authority. Even, unfortunately, scams exploit this. People dressing up as utility workers or inspectors to gain trust and access.
Scary how effective that can be. So to make expert opinions really land, finding multiple experts who agree, that multiplies the impact.
Oh, significantly. Consensus among several credible authorities is very persuasive. It removes doubt.
And putting testimonials from authorities right at the start of, say, an online presentation?
Very effective. Establishes credibility immediately. Sets the stage.
Now, there's a difference between being an authority having real expertise and being an authority just holding a position, right?
Crucial difference.
Yeah.
Genuine expertise earns trust and influence. Positional authority can sometimes just command obedience, maybe grudgingly. Expertise is more persuasive.
So how do we protect ourselves from being swayed unfairly by authority?
Ask 2 key questions. First, is this person actually an expert on this specific matter?
Right. Are their credentials relevant here?
Exactly. Second, do they have anything to gain personally from my compliance, beyond the merits of their advice? Any vested interests, hidden agendas?
Check for bias. Got it. Okay, principle 6. Scarcity.
FOMO, fear of missing out.
We value things more when they're rare, limited, running out.
We do. And loss aversion is a huge part of this. The pain of losing something feels stronger than the pleasure of gaining something of equal value.
So the thought of missing out is a bigger motivator.
Often, yes. That's why limited time only is plastered everywhere.
Creates that urgency, ticking clock.
Even just letting people know your schedule is tight can make your time seem more valuable, a scarce resource.
Or not replying to messages instantly makes you seem busy. Scarce.
Subtly, yes. And scarcity is apparently a top driver for converting online shoppers.
Yeah, limited quantity or limited time. And limited quantity often wins.
It seems so. Probably because it adds that element of competition. Someone else might get the last one if I don't act now, W.
That makes sense. Intensifies the FOMO and framing benefits in terms of loss.
Can be more powerful than framing them as gains. Like Bose's old slogan, hear what you've been missing. It focuses on the potential loss.
Rather than just hear great sound. Interesting. And uniqueness is a form of scarcity too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Highlighting features that competitors don't have makes your offering seem rare and exclusive.
And those last chance emails or reminders.
They hit that loss aversion button hard. Finality is a strong trigger.
Okay, so those are the original 6, but Cialdini added a 7th later, unity.
Yes. This is about shared identity, the feeling of we-ness.
Being part of the same group. one of us.
Exactly. We are far more influenced by people we perceive as being in our tribe, however we define that.
It creates this immediate sense of trust, doesn't it?
Huge trust and cooperation. That study on the college campus.
The fundraiser.
Yeah. A student asking for donations simply said, I'm a student here too. Just adding that shared identity. Donations increased by 400%.
400%, just from I'm a student too. Incredible.
It changes the dynamic completely. It's not stranger to stranger anymore. It's member to member.
Like Joe Polish asking a colleague in the same department for a favor by emphasizing they were both in that department.
Right. Appealing to that shared identity got the yes.
You see this everywhere in society. Tribalism, group affiliations, they drive so much behavior.
For better or worse, that sense of belonging is incredibly powerful.
And in long-term relationships business, personal emphasizing that shared history, that we're in this together feeling.
That can be very persuasive. Think of Warren Buffett building partnerships.
Yeah, you mentioned him fostering that sense of shared goals, both riding in the same boat.
That unity creates alignment and makes influence much easier because it feels collaborative, not adversarial.
So 7 principles now, but there's also this idea of persuasion, setting the stage.
Yes. This is fascinating. It's arranging for your audience to be receptive to your message before they even encounter it.
How does that work?
It's about directing their attention strategically, right before you deliver your core message. What you say or do in that moment before primes them.
So subtle cues can have a big impact, even unconsciously, like that furniture website study.
Exactly. Showing clouds in the background made people prioritize comfort. Showing coins made them prioritize price.
And they probably had no idea the background image influenced them.
Likely not. It just subtly shifted their focus before they started comparing sofas. That's persuasion. Focus their attention first.
Like the adventurous person study, asking, do you consider yourself adventurous? First.
Made people much more likely, 75.6% says 30%, to get their email for info about a new untried soft drink. It primed their adventurous self-image.
Wow. And the flower shop study, asking for a phone number near a flower shop, worked better.
Yep. The flowers subtly primed thoughts of romance, making the romantic request seem more appropriate or appealing in that moment, creating the right mental context.
It's like putting a nice frame around a painting. The frame influences how you see the art.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
And concepts like priming, framing, positioning, anchoring, they're all related academic ideas under this umbrella.
It's about shaping perception beforehand, even asking for advice instead of opinion.
Makes a difference. Advice implies collaboration, partnership. Opinion can feel more like a judgment or critique is being sought. Advice makes people more receptive.
Okay, this is all incredibly insightful, but we have to touch on the ethics, right? These tools are powerful.
Absolutely crucial. Using these principles unethically, well, it might work short term, but it's not sustainable.
Why not?
It breeds discomfort, distrust. Good people leave organizations that rely on dishonest tactics. You end up left with only those comfortable with manipulation, and they can eventually harm the organization itself.
Right. Ethical influence builds long-term relationships and value.
Exactly. Money earned ethically is really a byproduct of creating genuine value for others. And social proof actually works against unethical practices over time. Bad reputations spread.
That's a good point. So wrapping this up, the world of persuasion is complex, deeply psychological. Understanding these principles, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, scarcity, unity, and adding that layer of persuasion.
It gives you this incredible lens to understand why people say yes.
And helps you navigate your own interactions more effectively, more consciously.
And remember, the most effective, ethical approach is often just identifying which principles already exist naturally in a situation and highlighting them, not manufacturing them dishonestly.
So think about how you might start noticing these notebook nuggets in your own life, at work, in relationships, even motivating yourself. What really stood out to you today?
Yeah, what's the one thing you'll be looking out for now? It's an ongoing process, really. Observing, analyzing.
Seeing how these principles play out every day.
And thinking how you can use them ethically in your own communication for better outcomes.
Well, we really hope this deep dive into the psychology of persuasion has given you some valuable food for thought.
It's just scratching the surface, really. Cialdini's books, Influence and Persuasion, go much deeper.
Definitely recommend checking those out. And what other areas of human behavior are you curious about? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
If you found this exploration valuable, please do take a second to like, comment, share it with anyone else who might find it interesting.
Helps others find it.
And of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives into the big ideas that shape our world.